That can be economically,
Mm-hmm.
that can be behaviorally, that could be a family dynamic, that could be diet. Like
I was just thinking that because
there's things that we eat that we know, 2/3 of the family is obese, and of that, 80% of them have type 2 diabetes, and everybody's got this, that, and a third. And we're just saying, well, these eating habits are generational.
Damn, it's funny you say that, Jermaine, because I was going through a list of things thinking, okay, what do we do generationally that hurt us? And I was thinking sometimes I'll see a family where some of them are a little bigger, right? And I'll think to myself, ask a family member, like, damn, they're all kind of bigger people. What's the cause of that? They'll say, hey, we just big boned it or some shit like this. But in reality, it could be eating habits that started a couple generations before, right?
Yeah, there was a good episode of the Boondocks that came on, the old animated Boondocks, and they were talking about the movie Soul Food. And Huey, the son, he was just like, the movie where everybody would get around and eat every Sunday, and ultimately it led to Big Mama losing her leg and then dying, and the family's response was to come back together and eat the exact same food that killed Big Mama.
Yeah,
like. So sometimes, when we say generational curses or generational trauma or things that go along our lineage, sometimes it's not them, it's us. Sometimes
see, I was looking through it, and the first thing I thought, of course, like all the systematic things that put us in certain positions, I'm like, yes, that's obvious. But I'm digging a little deeper, like, damn, if regardless of what the system did, in our home, I look at homes as like little small countries. Like you create the rules, the bylaws. This is your shit.
It's your own ecosystem. Yeah.
Your own ecosystem. If you're in the house and the father communicates by yelling, meaning whenever he wants something from anybody in the house, he's yelling profanity. You're gonna pick that up, whether you want to or not. It seems like some of that's going to be in you unless you kind of take a step back and take and look at it. But if it's in your home and you're a child, you're going to pick it up too.
Yeah, typically when you go to your household, it's either or. So it's like everybody yelled and cursed. So either I yell and curse or I don't yell and curse at all.
I've seen
everybody eats badly. Either I eat badly or I don't eat any of that stuff.
Or I'm a vegan. Goddamn.
Yeah. Usually it's usually daddy was an alcoholic, so I'm an alcoholic, or I've never touched a drop of liquor.
And that's exactly what people say. You say, why you don't drink? I used to watch my dad yell at my mom, and I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah. So a lot of people, it's polar. But in any event, that incident you're still directly tied to the incident one way or the other. So if you say I'm going to drink all the time or I'm never going to drink, the individual drinking in your household is still the base point for which either direction you go. So even to say that when you say generationally, you're still a part of the generational lineage. Like you didn't break off from the tree. You're just a different branch, but it's like centered in the same root. I'm never going to drink because all these people drink and I saw the results. So my choice to never drink is still directly tied to the generation before me.
And you know what, Jermaine, what do you think about this? I've seen people, excuse me, who hate how their parents conducted structure with them or finances. Like they can't stand it, but I watch them and they do the same shit their parents did.
Yeah. That's something I refer to as handlebar logic.
What you mean?
Handlebar logic. I'll tell you, I told the story. I don't know if I ever told it. So I always reference when I was a kid in the house that we lived on, like on our street. Every kid who started to ride a bike on our street rode into our mailbox. Like it was the mailbox, it was on a post, and it didn't matter how many houses down they were, whenever a kid learned how to start riding a bike, they all crashed into our mailbox. Like my father had re-nailed this mailbox down so many times, it was barely left sitting on the post. It had been hit so many times. And what would happen is that when kids would learn to start riding a bike, their parents would say, don't hit that mailbox. So once they start riding, their whole focus is the mailbox.
Not hitting.
So no matter where they were in the street, their brain is like, don't hit the mailbox, don't hit the mailbox, don't hit the mailbox. And they crash straight into the mailbox. So when you have people who are saying, man, I hated the way my dad did this, I hated the way my mom did this, and I am so fixated on what they did, my handlebars are directed towards the behavior that I keep focusing on. So even though I said the mailbox was the last thing that I wanted to hit, it is the only thing I'm focused on. And no matter where you were on the neighborhood, you end up crashing into that mailbox. And so you'll hear as adults, man, I never want to be like my dad, or I never want to do this like my mom. And you just like them because that's the focal point. That's where your handlebars are aimed at.
Damn. So that's a very, very good. So what does a person do? So if you see your dad was an alcoholic, it sounds like you're saying whatever you focus on,
where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So that's a catch-22 almost, because you want to, it seems like your focus goes sometimes towards things you want to prevent, or something that scares you, or it kind of, you know what I mean? So how can you not focus on it? How can you not look at it and say, okay, I don't like what I was seeing, so I have to avoid it? It seems like, damn.
So the difference is, so say if your father Papa was a Rolling Stone. Say he was just out here running around different women all the time. And you're like, man, I don't ever want to do my woman like he did that. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. That's your focus, is cheating. As opposed to, I'm going to love this woman as fully as I possibly can, in as many ways as I can, for as long as I can. What is your focus? Loving this woman. Focusing on this woman, being engaged and communicating with this woman, as opposed to cheating on this woman. Try not to cheat on this. Not trying to, like, your focus. What are you focused on? So you're and based upon your focus, your behavior will be in alignment with your focus.
Yeah, what you're telling yourself. Self-talk. I was reading about that. Yeah, what you tell yourself becomes a reality, positive or negative. Yeah. So that makes sense. You can just reframe that. Not, I don't want to be a drunk like my dad, but I'm going to do everything I can to live a healthy lifestyle.
So instead of, I don't want to be a drunk like my dad, I want to take care of myself. I want to work out every day. I want to go to the gym. I want to go for walks. I want to run marathons. I want to be this, and just focus on what you want to do. Like the best example I look at, have you ever been with somebody and they say, well, what do you want to eat for dinner? I don't want Chinese. I don't want Mexican.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but you do realize that we're no step closer to eating, right?
I know someone just like that.
Like, you're telling me everything you don't want, but there's nothing in front of you that you do want. So instead of making the focus that you don't want chicken, I do want fish. Okay, so what are all the different types of fish you might want?
There we go.
How do you want the fish prepared? What is the style? Like, let's talk about what you do want and start working in that direction.